Hello, Latanja Muhammad here. Welcome to the second installation of my new blog. If you missed the first one, feel free to shoot me an email at goodsenseplan@gmail.com and I'll be happy to send you the link. What we're talking about on this blog is the greatest wealth accumulation, preservation, and distribution vehicle of our time, indexed universal life insurance policies and annuities. For the time being, we're going to focus on the insurance policies though. And last week, what we talked about was some recommended reading, a few books from some authors that I really admire and respect: Martin Ruby, Patrick Kelly, and David McKnight. Each of these gentlemen have written these books that give us a very good explanation of how index universal life policies work, how they allow us to enjoy tax-free retirement income, tax-free access to cash prior to age 59 if we need it, without penalties and without taxes. These policies have so many benefits that they can offer us. We can finance things such as our cars using these policies. We can even use the money from our policies for other investments. We can enjoy positive arbitrage when we borrow money from our policies, meaning there is actually the opportunity to make money when you borrow. And we're going to get into all of this throughout the course of these blogs. So we talked about a chapter in the new rules yesterday. I said it was chapter 8, but it was actually chapter 9 on the topic of eliminating market risk. Now I know that most of us feel like, oh, losing a little bit of money here and there in the ups and downs of the stock market, that's just all part of the process. That's what we have to go through if we want to grow our money. Risk is inherent. And for a certain type of investing, risk is inherent. But if we're honest with ourselves, none of us really want to lose money. None of us are really okay with losing money. We will be perfectly happy if the stock market never declined again. We know that's not realistic, but honestly, we really don't want to lose money. And the only reason we accept that is because we just don't know that there's another way to have meaningful growth without losing money. That's where we get into talking about index universal life. But first, a little bit on the stock market. There's a lot of concern going on right now. Alan Greenspan, the former chair of the Federal Reserve, is telling investors to run for cover. They're talking about a recession near, the question about a recession nearing. The worst is yet to come. Worst start to a December in 38 years, on track for the worst December since the Great Depression. The Dow dipping into correction levels, and even Kramer saying it's not a safe market. In fact, it's the most treacherous stock market in years. This is just what some people are saying. And, of course, there are some people out there saying, oh, just hold on, hold tight. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as it seems. This is okay. The economics are fundamentally sound. We heard that before, right? So again, what we talked about yesterday was significant market crashes, significant losses in the markets since 1900. And again, how many of us are really okay with losing money? How many of us really can afford to spend 2, 9, 22 years recovering from stock market losses? With an average loss of 47% every 11 years, is that really something we want for our future? Do we really want our money riding a risky roller coaster and just not knowing what's going to happen? And one of the things that I think we should really think about is just ask yourself, how many market crashes am I going to see in my lifetime? How is that going to affect my income with the way I'm saving right now? And would I really like to do something about it if I can do better? What I'd like to introduce you today is a concept that we call the red line, blue line. Now, if you walked into an advisor's office with $100,000, let's say this was you in 1997. You walk into that office with $100,000 and the advisor says, well, hello, Mr. or Mrs. Client. I've got two options for where I can put your money for your retirement savings. Both are totally legal and ethical. Both are sanctioned by the IRS, the federal government. You won't have to worry about any threats of auditing or any sort of flags for suspicion of any sort. Just two options for you. Where would you like for me to put your money? If he just showed you this, what would you say? Most people that we ask say the blue line without even knowing what the blue line represents, just knowing that it's legal and ethical and sanctioned by the IRS. Well, briefly, and we're going to elaborate on this more in subsequent blogs as well. The red line represents the S&P 500. We've got the gains, we've got the losses. We've got the gains, we've got the losses, and so on and so forth. And we know these last 10 years have been pretty good. When we look at 2018, though, it's going to be a very interesting slope on this line, very, very interesting trend that we'll see. The blue line, if you notice, you don't get all the gains of the stock market, but you don't participate in any of the losses. So what's literally happening here is your gains are locked in. And when the market drops, you remain level until the market begins to swing upwards again. And then you participate in some of those gains. And again, when there's a loss, you stay level. Your previous gains are locked in. So you never have to go backwards. You never have to play catch up. Look at this, 1999 to 2007. Look at that. You're pretty much where you were, right? Nobody wants to spend 8-9 years with their money in any sort of investment vehicle and end up exactly where they were. Who wants that? That's not why we invest our money. So we're going to talk more about the red line and the blue line. If you want more information before the next blog, or if you would like to be added to my mailing list, to be invited to an information session, if you live in the Metro Detroit area, we've got information sessions going on regularly. I can also invite you to one of my online webinars. Shoot me an email. I'll be glad to send you the link to the previous blog as well as an invitation. So I look forward to speaking to you next time. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.